Welcome to the Caribbean. Where more than 700 islands rise between two continents, shaped by fire, coral, and endless waves. Here, volcanoes built mountains, reefs protected lagoons, and oceans connected cultures across centuries. Every island holds a different rhythm, yet all move to the same Caribbean beat. Stretching between North and South America, the Caribbean forms a natural bridge of islands and seas. This region blends tropical landscapes with layered histories and diverse island identities. From limestone coasts to rainforest peaks, nature defines daily life across the archipelago. Languages, music, and flavors change island to island, yet the spirit remains unmistakably Caribbean. Before we explore these extraordinary islands, we have a question for you. Which natural force shaped most Caribbean islands? Share your answer in the comments below. If you enjoy meaningful and informative journeys like this, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, but it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which country should we explore next? Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands emerge between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, forming a scattered chain of green hills and sheltered bays. This archipelago is divided between the United States Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands, each with distinct island character. Volcanic activity shaped these islands, creating steep ridges, natural harbors, and calm inlets protected from open seas. Submerged mountains and coral formations support clear waters and rich marine ecosystems along the coast. The main islands include St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix in the US territory. On the British side, Tortola, Virgin Gorda, Anegada, and Jost Van Dyke define the island landscape. mangrove forests line many shores, reducing erosion and serving as nurseries for tropical fish species. These ecosystems play a vital role in maintaining coastal balance and biodiversity. Urban centers such as Charlotte Amalie and Road Town developed around natural ports. They combine historic street layouts with modern Caribbean island life. Maritime trade shaped the island's past, positioning them along key ocean routes. This legacy still influences local culture, languages, and economic activity. Island life today revolves around the sea, outdoor movement, and community gatherings. Fishing, sailing, and coastal travel remain central to everyday routines. The Virgin Islands offer a balance of rugged terrain, calm waters, and layered island identities. Here, geography and history move together, guided by wind, tide, and time. Jamaica. Jamaica rises from the Caribbean Sea as a bold island of mountains, rivers, and sunlit coastlines. Its interior is defined by the Blue Mountains, where misty peaks shape climate and daily life. These highlands create fertile conditions for agriculture and flowing river systems. Waterfalls, limestone valleys, and dense forests dominate the island's natural geography. Jamaica's history reflects layers of indigenous roots, African heritage, and European colonial influence. These histories remain visible in town layouts, rural settlements, and cultural traditions. Music plays a central role in Jamaican identity. Rhythm and sound are part of everyday life, from neighborhoods to open public spaces. Coastal regions feature long sandy beaches and clear shallow waters. Northern shores are calmer, while southern coasts reflect stronger ocean movement. Rivers such as the Rio Grande cut through jungles and limestone terrain. These waterways remain important for transport, agriculture, and local livelihoods. Urban centers like Montego Bay blend modern tourism infrastructure with local markets and waterfront life. Smaller towns maintain slower rhythms shaped by fishing and farming routines. Jamaican cuisine highlights fresh produce, root vegetables, and coastal seafood. Cooking methods emphasize balance, spice, and slow preparation. Outdoor activities connect visitors with the island's natural character. Hiking trails, river journeys, and reef exploration reveal Jamaica beyond its beaches. Jamaica offers contrast in every direction. From mountain mist to coastal light, the island moves to its own unmistakable rhythm. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico sits at the edge of the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, forming a gateway between island and mainland worlds. Its coastline curves around sandy beaches, rocky headlands, and clear tropical waters. The island's geography changes quickly inland. Green hills rise toward the central mountain range, shaping rivers, forests, and cooler elevations. These natural shifts influence climate, agriculture, and settlement patterns. Puerto Rico's history reflects indigenous roots, Spanish colonization, and modern connections with the United States. These layers remain visible in architecture, language, and everyday cultural expression. San Juan, the capital, combines historic districts with a modern urban skyline. Stone streets and coastal walls face the sea, while contemporary neighborhoods reflect ongoing growth. Nature plays a central role across the island. El Yunque rainforest, the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. forest system, dominates the eastern landscape. Waterfalls, dense vegetation, and cloud-covered trails define this protected area. Smaller islands such as Culebra and Vieques offer quieter coastal environments. Shallow bays, white sand beaches, and calm waters shape daily life and tourism there. Puerto Rican culture expresses itself through music, movement, and community gatherings. Public spaces often become social centers shaped by sound and shared routines. Local cuisine blends coastal seafood with island-grown produce and traditional preparation methods. Flavors reflect regional ingredients rather than imported trends. Puerto Rico offers a rare mix of accessibility and deep island identity. It is a place where landscapes, culture, and history remain closely connected to the sea. Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic occupies the eastern side of Hispaniola, where mountains, rainforests, and long beaches meet warm Caribbean waters. Its coastline stretches across the Atlantic and the Caribbean Sea, shaping diverse marine and coastal landscapes. The island's interior rises sharply toward the Cordillera Central, home to the Caribbean's highest elevations. These mountains influence climate zones, river systems, and fertile agricultural valleys. History here marks a turning point for the wider region. Early European settlements grew around natural harbors, shaping urban layouts that still define major cities. Traces of this past remain visible in stone streets, forts, and coastal districts. Santo Domingo, the capital, reflects centuries of layered development. Historic neighborhoods sit beside modern avenues, linking past trade routes with contemporary island life. Along the eastern coast, Punta Cana extends for nearly 50 kilometers or 31 miles of sandy shoreline. Palm-lined beaches and calm waters define the area's natural appeal. To the north, the Samana Peninsula becomes a seasonal wildlife corridor. Between January and March, humpback whales gather offshore, creating one of the region's most notable natural spectacles. National parks such as Los Haitises reveal limestone hills, mangroves, and sheltered bays. These protected areas support rich birdlife and marine ecosystems. Daily life blends agriculture, fishing, and tourism-driven economies. Rural traditions remain strong alongside rapidly growing coastal communities. Dominican cuisine highlights rice, root vegetables, and fresh seafood. Meals reflect availability, climate, and long-standing island habits. The Dominican Republic offers contrast at every scale. From mountain peaks to coral shores, it presents a complete Caribbean landscape shaped by history and nature. Bahamas. The Bahamas stretch across the western Atlantic as an archipelago of over 700 islands and cays, most surrounded by shallow turquoise banks. Although often grouped with the Caribbean, these islands sit just north of the Caribbean Sea, close to Florida. The landscape is mostly low-lying limestone formed by ancient coral reefs. This geology creates clear waters, gentle currents, and some of the region's longest shallow lagoons. Only about 30 islands are inhabited, giving many areas a quiet, open character. Small settlements sit beside fishing grounds, sandy flats, and mangrove-lined coasts. Nassau, the capital, lies on New Providence Island. It developed around a natural harbour that shaped trade, settlement, and modern urban life. Historic streets and waterfront areas reflect centuries of maritime activity. Beyond the capital, islands such as Eleuthera reveal dramatic coastal contrasts. At the Glass Window Bridge, calm turquoise waters meet deep Atlantic blue within a few meters. The Exuma Cays offer some of the clearest waters in the region. Shallow channels, sandbars, and coral flats define this chain of islands. Marine life thrives across protected zones. Sea turtles, rays, and reef fish are common in nearshore waters. Local life centers on fishing, boat travel, and close-knit island communities. Daily routines follow tides, weather, and seasonal movement. Bahamian cuisine reflects coastal resources. Seafood, citrus, and locally grown produce shape traditional meals. The Bahamas present a softer side of island geography. Wide horizons, shallow seas, and open skies define this Atlantic archipelago. Barbados. Barbados rises from the Atlantic Ocean as the easternmost island of the Caribbean region. Its limestone foundation creates gentle hills, underground caves, and clear coastal waters. The island's geography is compact yet varied. Calm western shores face the Caribbean currents, while the east meets stronger Atlantic waves. This contrast shapes beaches, reefs, and coastal activities. History on the island reflects long maritime connections. Early settlements formed around natural harbors and trade routes across the Atlantic. These layers remain visible in street plans and historic districts. Bridgetown, the capital, sits along a sheltered bay. Its waterfront developed as a commercial center linking island life to global shipping lanes. Today, historic areas blend with modern civic spaces. Barbados is known for carefully maintained landscapes. Tropical gardens, coastal paths, and limestone cliffs define the countryside. Underground caves reveal mineral formations shaped over thousands of years. Wildlife adds a unique element to the island. Green spaces support bird species and small mammals native to the region. Daily life balances work, family, and outdoor movement. Communities gather along beaches, markets, and open public areas. Local cuisine highlights fresh seafood, root vegetables, and island-grown produce. Cooking methods favor slow preparation and balanced seasoning. Tourism supports much of the economy alongside services and agriculture. Development follows strict coastal planning to protect fragile environments. Barbados offers clarity and calm rather than extremes. Its identity rests on balance, order, and a strong connection to land and sea. Aruba. Aruba sits in the southern Caribbean, just 25 kilometers or 15.5 miles north of Venezuela. The island lies outside the main hurricane belt, giving it a steady, dry climate. Its landscape breaks Caribbean expectations. Low desert plains meet the sea, shaped by wind and sun. Iconic divvy trees lean west, sculpted by constant trade winds. Aruba's coast contrasts sharply from north to south. The southern and western shores offer long, calm beaches. The northern coast is rugged with cliffs and wave-carved coves. History reflects layered influences. Indigenous roots mixed with European settlement over centuries. Today, Aruba functions as a self-governing country within a wider kingdom structure. Oranjestad, the capital, lines a natural harbor. Colorful streets blend European planning with Caribbean scale. Public spaces stay open, walkable, and sea-facing. Local culture values balance and openness. Daily life moves between work, family, and outdoor time. Multilingual communication is common across communities. Food reflects island practicality. Seafood, grilled dishes, and corn-based sides dominate meals. Ingredients emphasize freshness over complexity. Tourism drives much of the economy. Beaches, marine activities, and coastal scenery lead demand. Clear waters support snorkeling and nearshore exploration. Aruba feels spacious despite its size. Open skies, steady breezes, and simple rhythms define the island experience. Martinique. Martinique lies in the southern Caribbean, between Dominica and St. Lucia, within the Lesser Antilles. The island rises sharply from the sea, shaped by volcanic forces and dense tropical rainfall. Its geography is defined by strong contrasts. In the north, steep mountains and rainforests dominate the skyline. To the south, calmer terrain opens into beaches, bays, and coastal plains. At the island's center stands Mount Pelée, an active volcano reaching about 1,397 meters or 4,583 feet. Its past eruptions reshaped settlements and landscapes, leaving fertile soils behind. Today, forests and plantations cover these volcanic slopes. Fort-de-France, the capital, sits along a wide bay on the western coast. It developed as a port city connecting agriculture, trade, and administration. Urban life here balances modern services with Caribbean coastal rhythm. Culture reflects a blend of Caribbean, African, and European influences. Music, language, and daily customs show this layered identity without losing local character. Community life remains closely tied to open markets and shared public spaces. Martinique's beaches vary widely. White sands line sheltered southern shores, while black volcanic sands appear in the north. Clear waters support swimming and coastal exploration. Agriculture still shapes the island's economy. Bananas, sugarcane, and local produce remain important livelihoods. Tourism adds a second layer, focused on nature, scenery, and slow travel. Martinique offers depth rather than spectacle. Its story is written in mountains, coastlines, and everyday island life. Bonaire. Bonaire lies in the southern Caribbean, about 80 kilometers or 50 miles north of Venezuela. The island sits outside the main hurricane belt, giving it calm seas and stable weather. Its coastline defines its identity. Shallow reefs begin just meters from shore, creating one of the world's best shore diving environments. Clear visibility allows marine life to thrive close to the surface. Bonaire's landscape is dry and open. Low hills, salt flats, and cactus fields contrast with bright coastal waters. The southern salt pans glow pink under the sun, shaped by centuries of salt harvesting. Kralendijk, the capital, stretches along the western shore. Pastel buildings face the sea, forming a compact, walkable waterfront town. Life here moves slowly, guided by tides and daylight. Marine protection defines the island's values. Much of the surrounding sea is preserved as a national marine park. Sea turtles, reef fish, and coral gardens remain remarkably healthy. On land, mangroves shelter birds and coastal ecosystems. Flamingos gather near inland lagoons, becoming a symbol of the island. Local cuisine reflects simplicity. Fresh seafood, vegetables, and island-grown ingredients dominate meals. Tourism focuses on nature rather than crowds. Limited development keeps beaches quiet and waters clear. Bonaire feels intentional and restrained. Its beauty comes from protection, balance, and closeness to the sea. Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe sits in the Eastern Caribbean within the Lesser Antilles, shaped like a butterfly from above. Two main islands, Grande Terre and Basse Terre, are linked by a narrow channel and bridges. The eastern wing, Grande Terre, is mostly limestone and low-lying. Here, wide beaches and shallow lagoons stretch along calm coasts. Coral reefs protect bays, creating clear water close to shore. Basseterre forms the western wing and rises sharply into mountains. Rainforests, waterfalls, and volcanic terrain dominate the interior. At its center stands La Soufrière, an active volcano reaching about 1,467 meters or 4,813 feet. Pointe-à-Pitre, the main urban center, developed around trade and maritime routes. Markets, ports, and compact streets define daily movement and commerce. The city connects rural landscapes with coastal life. Guadeloupe's culture reflects deep Caribbean roots blended with European influence. Music, crafts, and local traditions remain visible in everyday routines. Community gatherings often center around open-air spaces and coastal towns. Food emphasizes freshness and local sourcing. Seafood, tropical vegetables, and spice-based preparations shape island meals. Flavors vary slightly between the two main islands. Tourism supports the economy alongside agriculture and fishing. Travelers move between beaches, forests, and mountain trails within short distances. Guadeloupe offers contrast within a single destination. Calm shores and wild interiors coexist, defining the island's unique rhythm. Curaçao. Curaçao lies in the southern Caribbean, just 65 kilometers or 40 miles north of Venezuela. The island sits outside the hurricane belt, offering a dry climate and steady trade winds. Its coastline is deeply indented with natural coves. These sheltered bays create calm waters and clear visibility along much of the shore. Coral reefs begin close to land, supporting snorkeling and diving year-round. The interior landscape is semi-arid. Low hills, cacti, and limestone terraces define the terrain. Seasonal rains briefly transform valleys with greenery. Willemstad, the capital, stretches around a natural harbour called Schottegat. Colourful waterfront buildings line the bay, reflecting centuries of maritime trade. The city grew as a key port linking the Caribbean with global shipping routes. Urban districts remain compact and walkable. Floating bridges connect neighborhoods shaped by coastal geography. Daily life centers around the harbor and surrounding streets. Curaçao's culture reflects a blend of Caribbean, African, and European influences. Multiple languages are spoken across the island. Local traditions remain visible in music, crafts, and everyday interactions. Food highlights coastal resources. Fresh fish, stews, and slow-cooked dishes form the foundation of island meals. Ingredients emphasize balance rather than heavy seasoning. Tourism supports much of the modern economy. Beach access, marine activities, and cultural exploration attract steady visitors. Development follows clear zoning to protect reefs and shorelines. Curaçao offers clarity and contrast. Dry landscapes meet vivid seas, creating a distinct Caribbean experience. Saint Martin. Saint Martin lies in the northeastern Caribbean, where a single island is shared by two nations. A short land border divides French Saint Martin from Dutch Sint Maarten. Despite its small size, the island shows clear geographic variety. Low hills rise gently from the coast, while protected bays shape calm shorelines. Beaches face both the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. The island's position made it a strategic stop along historic sea routes. Over time, two administrations developed side by side without physical barriers. This created one of the world's smallest international borders. Marigot, on the northern side, serves as a key town and harbour. Its layout follows the curve of the coastline with open streets and sea views. Daily life here moves at a relaxed island pace. On the southern side, Philipsburg grew around a long, narrow bay. Its waterfront developed through trade, shipping, and tourism. Today, the town remains closely connected to the sea. Culture on Saint Martin blends European and Caribbean influences. Languages, customs, and food traditions vary subtly across the island. Yet shared markets, beaches and roads create a unified rhythm. Cuisine highlights fresh seafood and regional produce. Cooking styles reflect both island heritage and external influence. Tourism drives much of the economy. Short distances allow visitors to move easily between coasts and communities. St. Martin tells two stories on one island. Different identities share the same landscape, sea and sky. Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands sit in the western Caribbean Sea, south of Cuba and northwest of Jamaica. This small archipelago includes Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. The islands are built on limestone formations rather than volcanic rock. This geology creates steep underwater walls and exceptionally clear coastal waters. Visibility often extends far below the surface, even close to shore. Grand Cayman is the largest and most developed island. Its western coast features long, gently sloping beaches protected from strong currents. Shallow reefs begin near the shoreline, supporting marine life year-round. Georgetown, the capital, surrounds a natural harbour. It developed as a port linking regional trade routes across the Caribbean. Today, it combines administrative centres with a compact waterfront layout. Below the surface, the landscape changes dramatically. Vertical reef walls drop thousands of metres into deep blue water. These formations support corals, reef fish, turtles and rays. On land, the terrain remains mostly flat. Mangroves line parts of the coast, protecting shorelines from erosion. Inland areas support dry forests and coastal wetlands. Local life follows a steady, organized rhythm. Communities balance work with outdoor movement and family gatherings. Island distances remain short, keeping travel simple. Food traditions focus on the sea. Fresh fish and locally sourced ingredients dominate everyday meals. Tourism and financial services support the economy. Environmental regulations protect reefs and coastal ecosystems. The Cayman Islands feel precise and calm. Clear waters and quiet order define their character. St. Lucia. St. Lucia rises dramatically in the eastern Caribbean between Martinique and St. Vincent. The island is volcanic. with steep slopes that plunge directly into the sea. Its most striking features are the pitons, two volcanic peaks on the southwest coast. They rise sharply from the shoreline, shaping one of the region's most distinctive landscapes. Dense rainforests cover nearby hills, fed by frequent tropical rainfall. The island's interior is rugged and green. Rivers carve narrow valleys, leading to waterfalls and fertile lowlands. Volcanic soils support agriculture across the countryside. Castries, the capital, sits within a deep natural harbour. The city developed as a port connecting island production with regional trade. Today, it links coastal life with inland communities. History on St. Lucia reflects repeated settlement and exchange. Control of the island shifted many times during the colonial era. These layers influenced town layouts, language patterns, and local traditions. Daily life blends rural and coastal rhythms. Fishing villages line calm bays, while farming continues inland. Community ties remain strong across small settlements. Food reflects local resources and terrain. Fresh fish, root vegetables, and tropical produce dominate island meals. Cooking emphasizes slow preparation and balanced seasoning. Tourism plays a major economic role. Travelers are drawn to mountain views, sheltered coves, and natural scenery. Development remains concentrated along select coastal areas. St. Lucia feels vertical and powerful. Mountains, sea, and forest exist in close balance across a compact island. Antigua. Antigua lies in the Eastern Caribbean, within the Lesser Antilles, where warm trade winds shape daily life. The island is relatively flat, formed mostly from limestone, with gentle hills rather than high mountains. Its coastline is deeply indented, creating many natural bays and sheltered beaches. Calm waters dominate the western and northern shores, while stronger waves reach the east. Coral reefs protect much of the coastline, keeping seas clear and shallow. St. John's, the capital, developed around a natural harbour. The city connects government, trade, and everyday island life. Colourful streets and open waterfront areas define its compact layout. History on Antigua is closely tied to the sea. The island once served as a strategic maritime centre in the Eastern Caribbean. Old dockyards, anchorages, and coastal defences shaped settlement patterns. The interior supports small farms and open landscapes. Agriculture once focused on export crops, but today local produce serves island needs. Villages remain closely connected through short road networks. Antiguan culture emphasizes community and outdoor living. Music, shared meals, and public gatherings play a central role in daily routines. Festivals reflect African and Caribbean heritage without losing local identity. Food traditions rely on seafood, corn-based dishes, and fresh vegetables. Recipes favor slow cooking and simple seasoning. Tourism supports the modern economy. Sailing, coastal exploration, and beach access drive visitor interest. Development remains concentrated near bays and harbours. Antigua offers openness and balance. Wide horizons, calm seas, and steady winds define the island's character. Dominica. Dominica sits in the Eastern Caribbean between Guadeloupe and Martinique within the Lesser Antilles. The island is volcanic and mountainous, rising steeply from the sea. Its interior is dominated by dense rainforests and deep river valleys. Frequent rainfall feeds hundreds of streams that cut through rugged terrain. Waterfalls appear suddenly along forest paths and coastal slopes. At the heart of the island lies Mont Trois Pitons National Park. This protected area includes volcanic features, hot springs, and crater lakes. One of its most striking sights is the Boiling Lake, formed by geothermal activity. The coastline is less sandy than many Caribbean islands. Rocky shores and black volcanic beaches define much of the edge. These conditions support rich marine life close to shore. Roseau, the capital, sits along the southwest coast. It developed around a sheltered bay and river mouth. The town connects inland villages with coastal trade routes. History here reflects limited, large-scale development. Small communities remained closely tied to land and water. Traditional practices still influence daily routines. Agriculture remains important across the island. Bananas, root crops, and tropical fruits support local livelihoods. Fishing complements inland farming. Tourism focuses on nature rather than resorts. Visitors come for hiking, river exploration, and forest landscapes. Activities follow natural terrain instead of built attractions. Daily life moves at a steady pace. Roads wind through mountains, connecting villages across valleys. Community ties remain strong in rural areas. Dominica feels raw and untamed. Its identity is shaped by rain, rock, and living forest. Grenada. Grenada lies in the southern Caribbean at the edge of the Lesser Antilles, close to South America. The island is volcanic, with green hills rising from the coast into a fertile interior. Its terrain supports dense forests and river valleys. Short rivers flow toward calm bays, shaping small beaches and sheltered coves. Volcanic soils make the land productive and richly colored. St. George's, the capital, curves around a natural horseshoe harbor. The town developed along steep slopes overlooking the sea. Red-roofed buildings step down toward the waterfront in clear tiers. History on Grenada reflects maritime trade and plantation-era settlement. Remnants of forts sit on hilltops, placed to watch key sea routes. These sites reveal how geography shaped defense and commerce. Agriculture remains central to island life. Grenada is known for spice cultivation across inland farms. Nutmeg, cinnamon, and other crops grow on shaded slopes. Daily routines follow land and sea. Fishing villages line the coast, while farming communities work inland valleys. Short distances keep communities closely connected. Cuisine reflects this agricultural base. Meals use local produce, root vegetables, seafood, and island-grown spices. Cooking favors slow methods and balanced flavors. Tourism supports the modern economy alongside farming. Visitors explore beaches, forest trails, and inland lakes. Natural pools form beneath waterfalls during the rainy season. Grenada feels grounded and green. Its identity grows from fertile land, quiet bays, and steady island rhythms. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines form an archipelago in the southern Caribbean, stretching between St. Lucia and Grenada. The country includes St. Vincent and more than 30 smaller islands and cays scattered across clear blue waters. St. Vincent is volcanic and mountainous. Steep green slopes rise from the coast toward an active volcanic peak. Fertile soils support farming across inland valleys and river plains. Kingstown, the capital, sits along a natural harbour on the southwest coast. The city developed as a trading port linking agriculture with regional sea routes. Daily life here blends market activity with coastal routines. South of St. Vincent, the Grenadines change in character. These smaller islands are lower, drier, and shaped by coral and limestone. Shallow reefs surround calm lagoons, creating ideal conditions for sailing. Islands such as Bequia, Moustique, and Union Island each hold distinct identities. Small settlements sit close to beaches and anchorages. Movement between islands often follows traditional sea paths. Marine life thrives across the archipelago. Clear waters reveal coral gardens, reef fish, and sea turtles. Fishing remains an important part of local livelihoods. Culture reflects strong African and Caribbean roots. Music, boat building, and communal gatherings remain central to island life. Festivals follow seasonal rhythms rather than large-scale tourism calendars. Food draws directly from land and sea. Fresh fish, root vegetables, and locally grown produce define everyday meals. Tourism focuses on island hopping and natural scenery. Development stays limited, preserving quiet coastlines and open horizons. St. Vincent and the Grenadines feel expansive despite their size. Volcanic strength and coral calm coexist across this island chain. St. Kitts. St. Kitts lies in the eastern Caribbean, within the Lesser Antilles, near the island of Nevis. It is volcanic in origin. rising steeply from the sea into a green mountainous interior. The island's geography is dominated by Mount Liamuiga, a dormant volcano reaching about 1,156 meters or 3,792 feet. Dense rainforests cover its upper slopes, while fertile lowlands stretch toward the coast. Volcanic soils once supported large-scale agriculture and still shape the landscape today. Basseterre, the capital, sits along the southwestern shore. It developed around a natural harbor used for trade and regional transport. The town connects coastal life with inland farming communities. St. Kitts has a strong historical footprint. Old estates, stone ruins, and narrow roads trace earlier settlement patterns. These remains reveal how geography influenced defense, farming, and transport. The coastline varies across the island. Some areas feature dark volcanic sand, while others open into calm bays. Reefs and shallow waters support nearshore marine life. Local culture emphasizes community and tradition. Music, shared meals, and open gatherings remain part of daily routines. Life moves at a steady pace shaped by island scale. Food reflects local resources. Fresh fish, root crops, and tropical produce dominate meals. Cooking focuses on simple methods and natural flavors. Tourism supports the modern economy alongside services and agriculture. Visitors explore coastal roads, forest trails, and scenic viewpoints. Short distances allow easy movement across the island. St. Kitts feels solid and grounded. Mountain, sea, and history meet within a compact island landscape. Cozumel, Mexico. Cozumel lies in the western Caribbean Sea, just off Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The island stretches long and narrow, bordered by calm turquoise waters on one side and open sea on the other. Its geology is limestone, shaped by ancient coral reefs. This creates flat terrain, underground caverns, and exceptionally clear coastal waters. Reefs begin close to shore, supporting vibrant marine ecosystems. Cozumel is closely linked to the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest reef system on Earth. Strong currents bring nutrients, attracting diverse fish, turtles, and coral species. Visibility often exceeds 30 meters or 98 feet, ideal for underwater exploration. San Miguel de Cozumel, the main town, sits along the western coast. It developed as a port connecting maritime trade and island life. Colorful streets, markets, and waterfront promenades define daily movement. The island's interior is covered with dense tropical forest. Wildlife thrives in protected areas, including birds and small mammals. Roads remain limited, preserving large natural zones. History on Cozumel includes ancient coastal settlements and early navigation routes. Stone remnants and pathways reflect early island life without dominating the landscape. Local cuisine emphasizes freshness. Seafood, corn-based dishes, and citrus flavors shape everyday meals. Cooking remains simple and closely tied to local ingredients. Tourism is the main economic driver. Activities focus on marine exploration, boating, and relaxed coastal living. Development is concentrated to protect reefs and shorelines. Cozumel feels open and balanced. Clear water, steady currents, and quiet forests define its island character. Utila, Honduras. Utila lies in the western Caribbean Sea, just off the northern coast of Honduras. It is the smallest of the Bay Islands, yet one of the most influential for marine exploration. The island sits along the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest reef system on Earth. Coral walls and shallow reefs begin close to shore, creating easy access to underwater life. Warm waters and steady visibility support year-round exploration. Utila's terrain is low and compact. Mangroves line parts of the coast, while interior wetlands support birds and coastal ecosystems. Roads are short, and most movement happens on foot or by small vehicles. East Harbour, the main settlement, stretches along a narrow waterfront. Daily life centers around docks, boats, and small local businesses. The town remains closely tied to the sea. Utila is widely known for marine research and training activities. Whale sharks are frequently observed in nearby waters, especially during seasonal migrations. These sightings attract visitors focused on nature rather than luxury. Local culture is relaxed and community-oriented. Fishing traditions remain active alongside modern tourism. Evenings are quiet, shaped by tides and weather rather than crowds. Food reflects coastal living. Fresh fish, rice, and simple island dishes dominate meals. Ingredients are locally sourced whenever possible. Tourism supports most economic activity. Development stays modest to protect reefs and wetlands. Environmental awareness plays a strong role in local planning. Utila feels purposeful and intimate. Its value lies in access, clarity, and closeness to the sea. Turks and Caicos Islands. The Turks and Caicos Islands lie in the western Atlantic, southeast of the Bahamas, near the Caribbean region. This archipelago includes over 40 islands and cays, though only a small number are inhabited. The islands are formed mainly from coral limestone, creating flat terrain and shallow coastal shelves. Bright white beaches meet water so clear that the seabed remains visible far from shore. Sand colors range from white to soft pink, shaped by crushed coral. Beneath the surface, the landscape changes dramatically. A steep underwater drop-off, known locally as a wall, descends thousands of meters. This feature supports rich marine life close to land. Providenciales, often called Provo, is the main population center. It developed around long beaches and sheltered bays. Roads remain short, keeping daily movement simple and coastal focused. Grace Bay stretches for about 19 kilometers or 12 miles along the northern shore. Its calm waters and wide shoreline define the island's visual identity. Protective reefs reduce waves and preserve clarity. On less developed islands, landscapes feel untouched. Low vegetation, mangroves, and open flats dominate the view. Human settlement remains sparse and carefully planned. Local life centers on fishing, boating, and small communities. Schedules follow tides, daylight, and seasonal weather patterns. Food traditions rely on seafood and locally sourced ingredients. Preparation favors freshness and simple techniques. Tourism is the primary economic driver. Activities focus on beaches, marine exploration, and open-air movement. Environmental protection remains central to long-term planning. The Turks and Caicos Islands feel light and expansive. Water, sky, and sand shape an atmosphere of calm and clarity. San Blas Islands, Panama. The San Blas Islands lie along Panama's Caribbean coast, east of the Panama Canal. This archipelago includes over 300 islands and cays, many ringed by shallow turquoise waters. Most islands are low and coral-based. White sand meets calm seas protected by offshore reefs. Palm trees lean toward lagoons where currents move slowly. The islands are home to the Gunayala people. They manage their territory with strong local governance. Daily life follows traditions shaped by sea travel and island living. Settlements are small and close to the shore. Wooden homes sit near canoe landings and fishing areas. Movement between islands happens mainly by boat. Marine environments define the experience. Clear waters reveal coral gardens and reef fish near the surface. Snorkeling is common, with minimal depth and gentle conditions. The interior of each island is simple and open. There are no large roads or urban centers. Electricity and services remain limited by design. Food reflects island resources. Fresh fish, coconut, and locally grown produce shape everyday meals. Cooking methods are practical and unadorned. Tourism remains low impact and regulated. Visitors stay briefly and travel lightly between islands. This approach helps preserve fragile reefs and shorelines. The San Blas Islands feel intimate and quiet. They offer a rare glimpse of Caribbean life guided by tradition and sea. Roatan, Honduras. Roatan lies in the western Caribbean Sea, just off the northern coast of Honduras. It is the largest of the Bay Islands, stretching long and narrow across clear blue water. The island sits beside the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, the second largest reef system in the world. Reefs begin close to shore, making marine life visible even in shallow water. Visibility is often high, supporting snorkeling and diving throughout the year. Roatan's terrain mixes low hills with coastal plains. Dense greenery covers the interior, while beaches line protected bays. Mangroves and seagrass beds support fish and coastal ecosystems. Coxon Hole, the main port town, developed around a natural harbor. It connects island communities with mainland Honduras. Nearby settlements remain small and closely tied to the sea. West Bay features one of the island's most sheltered beaches. Calm waters and fine sand make it a focal point for coastal activity. Short distances allow easy movement between beaches and villages. Local culture reflects African, Caribbean, and Central American influences. Fishing traditions remain active alongside tourism. Daily life balances work with outdoor time and family gatherings. Food emphasizes local resources. Fresh fish, rice-based dishes, and tropical produce shape meals. Preparation favors simplicity and shared dining. Tourism supports much of the economy. Activities focus on reef exploration, boating, and coastal relaxation. Development remains concentrated to protect natural systems. Roatan feels accessible yet grounded. Its strength lies in clear water, living reefs, and island-scale life. Bermuda. Bermuda lies in the western Atlantic Ocean, about 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles east of North America. Though often grouped with the Caribbean, its geography and currents are distinctly Atlantic. The archipelago is formed from limestone built over ancient coral reefs. This creates low rolling hills, underground caves, and remarkably clear coastal waters. Pink sand beaches form where coral fragments mix with white sand. Bermuda's reefs encircle the islands. They soften Atlantic waves and protect shallow lagoons near shore. Visibility is high, even close to land. The climate blends subtropical warmth with ocean breezes. Seasonal changes are mild, shaped by surrounding currents rather than extreme heat. This balance defines daily outdoor life. Hamilton, the capital, sits along a natural harbor. It developed as a maritime center linking shipping, services, and administration. Compact streets face the water, keeping the city closely tied to the sea. History here reflects long-distance navigation and Atlantic trade. Coastal defenses and harbors shaped settlement patterns across the islands. These layers influenced town layouts without overwhelming the landscape. Nature remains accessible across Bermuda. Cliffs, coves, and coastal paths sit minutes apart. Caves and sinkholes reveal the island's porous limestone structure. Local life values order and calm. Communities are small, organized, and closely connected by short routes. Movement follows the shoreline more than the interior. Food emphasizes seafood and fresh produce. Preparation is simple, highlighting natural flavors. Tourism and financial services support the economy. Environmental protection safeguards reefs and beaches. Bermuda feels precise and open. Atlantic light, shallow reefs, and quiet rhythm define its character. Huatulco, Mexico. Huatulco lies on Mexico's Pacific coast in the state of Oaxaca, facing warm, open ocean waters. It is defined by 9 bays and more than 30 beaches, spread across a protected coastal zone. The landscape blends sea and mountains. Rocky headlands separate calm bays, while the Sierra Madre foothills rise inland. Rivers and seasonal streams shape valleys behind the coast. Much of the region is protected as Huatulco National Park. Dry tropical forests cover the hills, turning green during the rainy season. Wildlife includes birds, reptiles, and small mammals adapted to coastal conditions. La Crucecita functions as the main town and civic center. It developed as a planned community rather than a historic port. Wide streets and public squares define everyday movement. The bays differ in character. Some offer shallow, calm waters suitable for swimming and boating. Others face stronger currents and open horizons. Marine life thrives along rocky reefs. Clear water supports snorkeling and near-shore exploration. Coral formations and fish remain visible close to land. Local culture reflects coastal Oaxaca traditions. Fishing, small farming, and craft production shape daily routines. Community life centers on markets and open public spaces. Food emphasizes regional ingredients. Seafood, corn-based dishes, and tropical fruits dominate meals. Preparation favors freshness and straightforward methods. Tourism developed with environmental limits. Large-scale construction is restricted within protected zones. This keeps beaches open and landscapes uncluttered. Huatulco feels spacious and intentional. Nature, planning, and coastline move together in balance. Isla Mujeres, Mexico. Isla Mujeres lies in the western Caribbean Sea, about 13 kilometers or 8 miles off the coast of Cancun. The island is long and narrow, stretching roughly 7 kilometers or 4.3 miles from north to south. Its eastern shore faces open Caribbean waters. Waves shape rocky edges and coral formations along this side. The western coast remains calm, protected by the mainland and nearby reefs. Playa Norte sits near the northern tip of the island. Shallow water and soft sand create ideal swimming conditions. The seabed slopes gently, keeping waves small and visibility high. The island's interior is flat and compact. Roads are short, and most travel happens by small vehicles or walking. Distances remain easy to cover within a single day. Isla Mujeres town, the main settlement, runs along the western shoreline. Colorful streets face the sea, shaped by fishing and coastal trade. Daily life follows tides, ferry schedules, and local routines. Marine environments define much of the island's appeal. Nearby reefs support coral, fish, and sea turtles. Clear water allows snorkeling close to shore without deep dives. History connects Isla Mujeres to early coastal navigation. Stone remnants and pathways reflect its role in regional sea routes. The island's name reflects long-standing cultural traditions. Food emphasizes freshness and simplicity. Seafood, citrus flavors, and corn-based dishes dominate meals. Cooking remains practical and closely tied to local supply. Tourism supports the economy while remaining small-scale. Development stays low-rise to protect views and shorelines. Quiet neighborhoods balance visitor activity. Isla Mujeres feels gentle and contained. Clear waters, short distances, and steady rhythms define the island experience. Culebra, Puerto Rico. Culebra is a small island located east of mainland Puerto Rico, surrounded by the clear waters of the Caribbean Sea. It lies about 27 kilometers or 17 miles offshore and remains physically separate from Puerto Rico's main urban centers. The island is low and gently hilly, shaped by limestone and coral formations. Its coastline is deeply indented, creating natural bays with calm, shallow water. These sheltered inlets protect beaches from strong waves and currents. Dewey, the main settlement, sits along a narrow harbor. Life here is quiet and community-centered, with short distances and slow movement. There are no large towns or dense road networks. Culebra is best known for its protected coastal environment. Large areas of land and sea are preserved to limit overdevelopment. This protection keeps waters clear and ecosystems stable. One of the island's defining features is Flamenco Beach. Its wide crescent of white sand and shallow turquoise water attracts visitors from across the region. The seabed slopes gently, making swimming conditions calm and predictable. Marine life thrives close to shore. Coral reefs support reef fish, rays, and sea turtles in nearshore waters. Snorkeling is possible without boats or deep dives. Food reflects island simplicity. Fresh seafood, rice-based dishes, and locally sourced ingredients dominate meals. Preparation focuses on freshness rather than complexity. Tourism exists at a small scale. There are no large resorts or high-rise buildings. Visitor numbers are controlled by transport access. Culebra feels restrained and peaceful. Clear water, protected land, and quiet routines define its island character. Isla Saona, Dominican Republic. Isla Saona lies off the southeastern coast of the Dominican Republic within the Caribbean Sea. It forms part of a protected national park, separated from the mainland by shallow channels. The island is low and coral-based. White sand beaches curve along calm lagoons with gentle currents. Palm forests sit close to the shoreline, with little elevation inland. Access is mainly by small boats. Approaches cross clear water where sandbanks appear just below the surface. Tides and weather shape daily movement around the island. There are no large towns on Isla Saona. Small settlements remain limited and lightly built. Human presence stays minimal to protect fragile ecosystems. Marine environments define the island's character. Shallow reefs support fish, rays, and sea turtles near shore. Visibility remains high, even in waist-deep water. Mangroves line protected inlets. They act as nurseries for marine life and buffers against erosion. These wetlands are vital to the island's ecological balance. History here is quiet rather than monumental. The island served as a natural refuge and fishing ground over generations. Its role remained tied to the sea, not large-scale settlement. Local food traditions reflect coastal simplicity. Fresh fish, rice, and tropical produce shape meals prepared nearby. Ingredients are sourced locally with minimal processing. Tourism exists under strict controls. Day visits are common, while overnight development stays limited. This approach preserves natural rhythms and open landscapes. Isla Saona feels open and untouched. Wide horizons, shallow seas, and quiet beaches define its lasting impression. Morocoy National Park, Venezuela. Morocoy National Park lies along Venezuela's northern Caribbean coast, where land dissolves into sea. It protects a chain of small islands, cays, and coastal lagoons spread across shallow turquoise waters. The park's geography is low and coral-based. White sand cays rise only slightly above sea level. Mangrove forests line calm channels, creating sheltered marine corridors. Water depth remains shallow across much of the park. Sunlight reaches the seabed, supporting coral growth and seagrass meadows. These conditions attract reef fish, rays, and sea turtles close to shore. The coastline alternates between open beaches and quiet inlets. Some areas feel wide and exposed, others enclosed and still. Boats move slowly between islands, guided by channels and tides. There are no permanent towns inside the park. Human presence is limited to small visitor areas and day use. This restriction helps maintain ecological balance. Marine biodiversity is one of Morocco's defining strengths. Snorkeling reveals coral heads, sponges, and schools of tropical fish. Bird life gathers near mangroves and sandbars. On land, vegetation stays low and coastal. Salt-tolerant plants dominate sandy soil and lagoon edges. Trees cluster where fresh water reaches the surface. Local life nearby depends on fishing and small-scale tourism. Communities outside the park supply boats and basic services. Daily activity follows weather and sea conditions. Morocco is not dramatic or vertical. Its beauty lies in horizontality, light, and water clarity. Sea, sky, and sand merge into a quiet coastal rhythm. St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Thomas lies in the northeastern Caribbean, between the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. The island is hilly and volcanic, with steep slopes rising directly from the coast. Its natural harbour shaped the island's development. Protected bays allow calm waters close to shore. Beaches curve along sheltered coves framed by green hills. Charlotte Amalie, the capital, sits around one of the deepest natural harbours in the region. The town grew as a port connecting regional trade routes. Today, compact streets follow the waterfront and surrounding hillsides. The island's interior offers elevated viewpoints. From higher ground, coastlines and neighbouring islands appear within clear sight. Short distances make transitions from town to beach quick and simple. Marine environments play a central role. Nearshore reefs support coral, reef fish, and sea turtles. Clear water allows snorkeling without boats in many locations. History remains visible in the island's layout. Harbour-facing structures reflect centuries of maritime activity. Roads follow natural contours rather than straight grids. Daily life balances movement and pause. Work centers on services, trade, and tourism. Outdoor routines follow daylight and sea conditions. Food reflects island practicality. Fresh fish, rice-based dishes, and local produce dominate meals. Preparation emphasizes freshness and straightforward flavors. Tourism supports much of the economy. Visitors come for beaches, harbor views, and easy access to the sea. Development remains concentrated near the coast. St. Thomas feels active yet contained. Harbour, hills, and clear water define its island character. San Andrés, Colombia. San Andrés lies in the western Caribbean Sea, about 700 kilometers or 435 miles north of mainland Colombia. Despite this distance, the island remains culturally and administratively connected to Colombia. The island is small and low-lying, formed mainly from coral limestone. Its shallow shelf creates calm waters with exceptional clarity. Sunlight reflects through multiple shades of blue and green near the shore. This effect is often called the Sea of Seven Colors. Different depths, sands, and coral patches create visible color changes across short distances. The result is one of the Caribbean's most distinctive seascapes. San Andrés town stretches along the northern coast. It functions as the island's commercial and residential center. Daily life follows coastal movement rather than inland routes. The interior remains lightly developed. Palm groves and open land separate settlements from the coast. Roads circle the island in a continuous loop. Marine life defines much of San Andrés' appeal. Coral reefs support fish, rays, and sea turtles close to shore. Snorkeling and shallow water exploration are common without boats. Cultural identity blends Caribbean and Latin influences. Music, language, and food reflect this mixed heritage. Community life centers on open spaces and shared routines. Food emphasizes seafood and tropical ingredients. Preparation is simple, highlighting freshness and local supply. Tourism supports the main economy. Activity focuses on beaches, reefs, and coastal scenery. Development remains compact to protect marine environments. San Andrés feels colorful and open. Water, light, and space shape its lasting island character. Tulum, Mexico. Tulum lies on Mexico's Caribbean coast along the eastern edge of the Yucatan Peninsula. The town faces open turquoise water, where limestone shores meet gentle coastal currents. Its landscape is flat and porous, formed from ancient coral limestone. Rainwater filters underground, creating freshwater pools and channels beneath the surface. These natural systems shape the region's coastline and inland terrain. The shoreline stretches wide and open. Soft white sand meets shallow, clear water with gradual depth changes. Sea conditions remain calm for much of the year. Just inland, dense tropical forest covers the land. Hidden pathways lead to freshwater pools formed within collapsed limestone chambers. Vegetation grows thick, supported by underground water flow. Tulum town developed as a small settlement rather than a historic port. Growth followed coastal roads and inland forest clearings. The area remains spread out without a dense urban core. History here reflects early coastal settlement patterns. Stone structures sit on elevated ground overlooking the sea. Their placement shows how geography guided navigation and protection. Local life blends coastal movement with inland routines. Daily rhythms follow daylight, temperature, and sea conditions. Short distances connect beaches, forest areas, and town spaces. Food emphasizes regional simplicity. Fresh seafood, corn-based dishes, and tropical fruits dominate meals. Preparation favors light seasoning and natural flavors. Tourism supports the economy. Visitors focus on beaches, swimming, and natural landscapes. Development remains mostly low-rise to protect views and groundwater. Tulum feels open and elemental. Sea, forest, and stone define its quiet Caribbean presence. As our journey through the Caribbean comes to an end, the islands leave a quiet, lasting impression. From volcanic peaks to coral lagoons, every landscape tells a different story. These places are shaped by water, wind, and time, yet each keeps a distinct identity. Together they form a region where nature and daily life move in balance. And long after the waves fade, the feeling of the Caribbean stays with you. If this journey inspired you, please like and subscribe to support the channel. It's completely free, but it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments. Which country should we explore next?